What is it that you're seeing as some of the most persistent problems with music coming out of home recording
Oh,
studios?
it's easy for me. It's the sounds of low mid range are always very often very poorly layered, and I think that what happens is our younger engineers may not hear that, and so you have this ball of mud that's in the middle, and the question is how do you get rid of that? And why do I say this? I'll tell you why. I master, as I mentioned, for CBS Television, and we're doing 25 tracks a week. So I'm getting all these different composers and they're mixing their stuff. Sometimes it's got to be remixed and I'll remix it. But oftentimes the thing that I'm finding is that I'm working very hard to get that middle range, lower mid range, really layered out. And sometimes what I'll do is I'll take an EQ and I'll just drive a wedge between where the kick drum starts and the bass starts. And it's amazing how much you can clean up that low end by simply driving a wedge at the right frequency. But that's what I hear. I think that there needs to be better, they need to listen more. They need to listen to other speakers. They need some songs or whatever it is that they know is correct. They must listen to that prior to mixing.
The reference mix?
They must listen to that during mixing. You can't take that out of the equation because your ears, you get used to hearing stuff. And all of a sudden, you put all this high end on something and you don't even know it because just like, yeah, I've been here for 8 hours doing it. And then you take it out and it's like, oh my God, what did I do?
So in preparation of this interview, I went and I read some threads on some different audio websites. And I forgot the one that I went to, but there was this long thread, people just like really disagreeing with one another. And this one guy said that when it comes to quality sound from a home recording studio, that it's 80% knowledge and 20% technical.
I would agree.
You agree?
Oh, absolutely. The tools are there and anyone can run them. It comes down to, does that sound right? Or is that the right thing? Or is that placed right? And gosh, it's just really being able to listen. And one of the problems with the digital workstation, as I can tell, remember the old days, we used to sit at this desk, right, that had all the knobs and buttons, and you would have every channel there, and you would EQ and compress and do whatever it was based on the whole sound. You weren't looking at waveforms. Today, we've got all these waveforms, and we're looking at that, and I swear you're making decisions based on looking at that screen. I've made that mistake. I have to turn it off because it drives me crazy. I'll start looking at a waveform and thinking, I should try. And then you do it and you go, wait a minute, that wasn't right. So you just have to be careful. Okay. Use that reference mix. Once you get like 5 songs that you know are dead nuts on.
Based on the genre, right?
Yeah, that's based on the genre. That's correct. Because every time I master or mix for CBS, for instance, I'll go listen to a tune that's very similar to it, and then I'll put it together, and then boom.
Okay. We've been talking about audio engineering in a studio setting. So in terms of live sound, is that an area that's burgeoning?
It's the best.
That is the best.
That's the best place to be. It really is. I mean, live sound, because one of the things that's cool about live sound is sometimes if you get on a tour, you're traveling, the money isn't great, but I don't know, when you're in your 20s, whatever, who gives a rip? Go have fun, I didn't care. I never worked for the money, ever. It wasn't about the money. It was always about the fun.
So is the training for the audio engineer who wants to specialize in recorded music different from the engineer who wants to specialize in live recording?
To an extent, but not really, because the main thing is when you go to a live gig, first of all, you have to know you're not going to be the front of house engineer, and you're probably not going to be the monitor engineer. You're probably going to carry cables, move cases, you're going to work up. So basically it comes down to having a great work ethic, showing those guys that you can do it, that you're there, that you're solid, you're on time, at the tone. That's how you get your chance to assist the front of house engineer. And that's how the chance, when the front of house engineer didn't catch his plane, you wind up mixing the show. You see, these are the steps you take to get there. And everybody has a same story and a different story, but they're all similar. They took the chance to work hard, to show they had the guts and the clarity to be there on time, be responsible, and be intelligent. They knew when to leave. They didn't hang out with the band. They knew when to leave. They keep doing this. Next thing you know, somebody says, you know, I like that guy or I like that gal. You know, they're cool. They're never in my face. They do the right job. They do it all. And it's good.
Back to the human component.
It's always about the human component. Yeah. It's always, you know, you can have the greatest knowledge in the world, and there are those guys, and you can't work with them.
It's kind of an irony that we're talking about something so technical, but then it comes back down to the human component when it comes to really excelling.
That's right.
Interesting.
Yeah. So at the end of the day, nothing's changed. At the end of the day, it comes down to you. It comes down to you. Are you going to make it happen on a daily basis? It's always been that way, and it always will. Think about all the film students that go to film school, and only a few of them get to make a real film. Same deal. Who are those people? They're the ones who made it happen, man. They wrote the screenplay. They got their friends to act in it. They figured it out. You figure it out. And so that's why I think today the chances of you getting in are just as good as any. Okay. But it comes down to you. Are you going to make it happen?
When people watch this video and they're like, oh, we got Gary Platt. Oh, I would love to hear what he has to say with regard to me taking the next step, me getting better, me stepping up my game as an audio engineer or somebody who wants to get out there and make a living through engineering. Give me 3 action items that they can do.
Probably the most important aspect is the social aspect. Okay. Go out there and start figuring out who's who.
Even as an engineer.
Oh yeah, even as an engineer.
Who's typically introverted.
Who's going to be your clients? Okay. They're going to be producers. They're going to be bands. They're going to be management companies. Find out who those people are. Go over and talk to them. Okay. It matters. It really does. The second thing is, if it was me, I would try to get a mentor. I think it's really important to constantly check YouTube for updated education with relation to the audio world and the audio business. Yeah, I think it's really important because you're going to learn things that you would never have learned. Now it's so great. You can take those learning moments and you can help other people understand what they need to do better. I also think you better have in your pocket 5 jokes that you just have. I'm not kidding. Because what happens is you'll all be standing around goofing off at the end of the day, and the guys will be at, and if you have a joke or 2 you can tell that's really funny, they're going to start liking you more.
Right.
I mean, it's just, you know, so I always had 5, maybe 6 jokes I could tell, and then they would start, and the other guy would start. We'd spend 2 hours, you know, telling jokes, and everybody's having a great time. So have some jokes in your back pocket.
And that goes back to number 1.
And it goes right back, they all go back to number 1 at the end of the day.
They all go back to number 1 at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So your final words.
Here are my final word. It's a bitch. Being in the audio business. It's a bitch. In the media business. People never appreciate what you do.
I've heard engineers say, sometimes they don't even see the sun for weeks at a time.
Oh, no. No, that's solely true. I've definitely lived that life.
That sounds like a vampire life.
You do. You go in at 6 and you're there and you get out about, well, I see the sun. I get out at 9 o'clock in the morning.
Well, we're going to wrap, and Gary Platt is always a pleasure, and it's always entertaining.
Well, thanks, man. It's a great thing to be here, and I'm crazy about you, and I'm crazy about what you guys are up to.
I
think it's perfect. That's what we need.
Thank you so much for your time. We appreciate it.
Yeah. So many relationships just don't work out. And the reason is simple. It's, do you love your job more than me? And I hate to tell you this. You're probably going to love your job over a longer period of time.